Good afternoon, September the 18th of 2012. I'm going to talk to you today about dealer fraud, car dealer fraud, which is something which obviously we've been practicing in for about 20 years or so, and I think we know the ins and outs, but there's something which I've been seeing as a recurring pattern recently, which has been a pattern that I have seen throughout my career as a car fraud, as a dealership car fraud attorney, but which seems to be happening even more recently. And I'll tell you what it is. Essentially, the dealer will rely on two weapons to get you to sign a car deal without disclosing what the real facts of the car deal are, or while hiding things about the car deal from you, or while confusing you onto the terms of the car deal. And let me tell you what those two weapons are. The first weapon is time, and the second weapon is hunger. When a car dealership gets you into the car dealership, now a good car dealership will not do this. So I mean, if you go to a car dealership and they're not trying to basically keep you there and not letting you have food and things like that, that's a good car dealership. And obviously the key sign of what I consider to be a good car dealership, well, two things. Number one is they recommend that you get your own physical inspection of the vehicle to make sure that there's no collision damage. And number two is they let you take the contract home and read it before you sign it. As we all know, very, very few car dealers do this. What they do, and what they've been doing a lot recently, and particularly to women, I see this a lot, particularly with women, they get people into the dealership, they get them interested in a car, and then they keep them there for hours and hours and hours until they are tired and until they are hungry. And when they are tired and hungry, then they will sign anything without reading it. And at that point, you've probably all been through car deals. You go into the finance office at the dealership, and they have a big stack of documents. Believe me, I'm a trained attorney, and it would take me probably a couple days to read through all those documents if there was no music and everyone just left me alone. I mean, there's no way you're going to be able to read through all those documents. But you're tired and you're hungry, and they've got a big stack of documents that you're supposed to sign before the deal is done. And that's where they often try to slip in the little disclaimers and the little things, the little warranty limitations, the little things that basically make the deal not what you originally agreed upon, not what you intended. Also, if the dealership has something like a disclaimer on the physical condition of the car, like this car has been in an accident, that will be buried in the stack of documents that they ask you to sign, sometimes late in the evening after you haven't had any food for 4 or 5 hours, and you just want to get the heck out of there in your new car or your new used car, whichever one, and so you start signing a bunch of documents and you really don't know what to say. You don't have the energy to read them, you don't have the time to read them, you're tired. That's when the dealership's got you. Now, don't think this is an accident. Dealers know that they close most of their deals when people are tired and hungry. This is not new. This is something that's been known in car dealership world for a long, long time. So, when you go shopping for a car, number one is, this is an old trick, keep a hold of your own car keys. The thing is that they want to take your car and look at it for purposes of a trade-in, fine. Insist you get your car keys back, because if you decide to drive home in your old car that night, you want to be able to do so. Some car dealers do this little trick where they basically take the car away to do an evaluation of it, an appraisal of it to find out how much it's going to be worth in trade, and then they don't give you your car keys back, so technically you have no way to get home. Number two is a backup plan. Have a friend available by phone to come and pick you up if you're being held at the dealership. Number three, insist that you be given the opportunity to take the contract home and read over it in your own time, in the peace and quiet of your own kitchen or your own living room, so you're not sitting there being forced basically to sign it on the spot. If they say, well, you'll lose this deal if you don't sign it right away, that's a salesman pitch. That's a bunch of baloney. Then at some point or another, you have to be able and willing to walk out of the dealership. Number four, insist upon getting your own physical inspection of the vehicle. Your own physical inspection of the vehicle by an independent mechanic. The independent mechanic will find things out about the car that chances are not being disclosed to you. And of course, number five, and that is if you're buying a used car, most of this applies to a used car. If you're buying a used car, ask the dealership for a warranty history on the car. If you're buying a Ford at a Toyota dealership, chances are the Toyota dealership will not have the warranty history of the car. But if you're buying a Ford at a Ford dealership, they can go right into the computer of the service department and they can pull up the warranty history of that car. So if you're buying a Ford at a Ford dealership or a Toyota at a Toyota dealership, whatever, you're buying the car at the dealership of the manufacturer that made it, you should be able to get a warranty history of the car to find out whether the car's had any problems. These are just a few really basic common sense survival tips for surviving your next purchase of a car. Please circulate this video to your friends if they're going to be going out and buying a car, and I hope this information is helpful. Thank you.